Deep Threat Sports Network fans, welcome back. It was another action-packed weekend of college football. This season has been nothing less than spectacular so far. I mean, every weekend it is absolute banger after banger. We got upsets every week. This has been fantastic stuff to watch. Has made it extremely hard to really get honed in on a team and buy into a team and then watch them go blow it the next week. We've had a lot of contenders that are actual pretenders, and this football season has been absolutely spectacular. First things first here, my health is getting back to normal here with the teeth. I can talk a little bit, feel good. I feel good. It's glad to be back. Bryant said it last Thursday. Got to get back to normal because we got a big Mizzou game coming up this week, and everybody knows I like to talk. So I got a lot to talk about in that football game, so I had to get back right. Bryant, Nolan with me tonight, fellas. Glad we're all back together again. It's been a couple episodes since we've the three of us have been back together. Thought we were going to have Dave tonight. Duty calls. Hey, 3 kids, man. I've got 2. He's got 3. Couldn't imagine how hectic that life is. So, Nolan, Bryant, fellas, how are we doing?
Doing good, man. The weather kind of turned today, so it starts to feel like fall and getting into that nitty-gritty football weather.
Beautiful.
Yes, sir. We're getting into the heart of everybody's conference season now. So, truthfully, I mean, we're going to talk about it on the top 25 here, but I think there's a couple teams about to take a big tumble.
Couple teams going to take a big tumble indeed, and some kind of already have. What did you have, Brian?
I was going to say, I was looking at a few teams' remaining schedule. Just some of them are absolutely brutal. Like, I think I was looking at South Carolina's. That was
bad.
That's hard to look at. Texas Tech is not easy. And there's a few others I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, man, they might look good now, but it's going to be a bloodbath if they don't continue playing good.
I was looking at one actually yesterday. It's funny you brought that up, Nolan. Whose is very manageable, and I don't remember the games off the top of my head, but whose is very manageable in the ACC moving forward?
Georgia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia and Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
Like there's a legit chance those two teams like somehow went out.
Listen, I looked at the numbers for that. There's a 3% chance. It's not a great chance, but there's a 3% chance that both of those teams go undefeated, and they might meet in the championship game. Just those two, which would be ridiculous, and the ACC should just be pissed off about that.
Yeah, because look, if Georgia Tech and Virginia, one of those two teams, I'm saying it right now. If one of those two teams make the playoffs and then they shouldn't have a first round bye, because I don't think they're that good. They're going to get absolutely mopped in the first round of the playoffs. What's so crazy too, Nolan, is we talked about on this show, the week the season started, about how Virginia had some injuries and we were sell them, sell Virginia. Everything about Virginia selling, and here they go.
I was not able to join you guys last week. How you guys spoke about the Daryl Jackson, the center being out. I don't know if you guys went back and watched any of that game.
Oh, yeah.
Daryl Jackson played well. He was triple teamed. I'm not kidding when I say that. He was triple teamed. The guard and both guards and the center blocked him on 61% of their plays.
Yeah.
That's how bad the rest of the defensive line was. You could see the pocket. I mean, it wasn't collapsing fast, but you could see it collapsing a little bit from the middle. Nobody else came to play, and I have no idea what happened.
Credit to Virginia, though, for doing that, for making that coaching call and picking up on what they had to do to go win a football game. So they're doing something right. I know Bryant made a joke and a jab at him last week about the overtime, not knowing that you had to go for 2. I guess so. I don't sometimes coach. I don't know, whatever. But on this episode, I don't blame you. On this episode, we have, of course, our dog of the week, the near miss segment, the day gone segment, our top 25, our Heisman and national championship odds. We'll talk about those, and then our main game and our quickie segment. You know how we do things around here by now. If not, and you're new at this, welcome. Obviously, we have a lot of people that go back and watch this and don't watch it live, which is cool, which is fine. Still leave comments, like, subscribe, do all those things, hit the alerts. So if you want to watch us go live, if you're on Spotify and Apple, we appreciate you guys listening on there. I've had good feedback on there so far. So like what we're doing. The channel is growing. We're over 100 subscribers now for a couple weeks now. I didn't want to say we're over 100 subscribers when it happened right away, and then we drop one, and then we're back under. So we've been over 100 subscribers for a couple weeks now. It's awesome. Obviously, we're trying to still grow this thing, so keep letting people know what we're doing and let them know that we provide great information. Ron, that comes on here with us every once in a while and does shows when we have a gap and we need an extra head in here. Appreciate him joining and doing a great job. He every time we leave an episode, he's like, fellas, if this channel could just grow, he's like, you guys have tons of information. You guys provide plenty of good details. You guys know the game, know what you're talking about. You give us all good stuff. So we just got to keep growing this thing and getting it out there. We love doing what we're doing. So let's get right into this thing. Let's go ahead and get into our dog of the week. So Bryant, tell the people real quick who our dog of the week is.
It's none other than our favorite player from last season, now on a new team this year. Old boy Nika Iamaleava. I think I said that right.
Oh,
UCLA quarterback on the now 1-4 UCLA Bruins. I mean, what a heck of a game he had. He had 166 yards passing and 2 touchdowns, threw some absolute dimes, was pretty much perfect on that side. But honestly, he was even better rushing the ball, 128 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. Dude was lowering his shoulder, running people over. He was a man on a mission in this game. I think this was a pretty easy pick for dog of the week, not just because of the upset, but just because how Nico played. Even if they would have lost this game, I think we would have been right here with him anyway. Hell of a game by Nico and that UCLA team, which we'll dive into a little bit more depth later. But yeah, Nika Iamaleava is our dog of the week for week 6.
Yeah, I have more to say about him for sure. I'm going to let it get to that review on that game before we talk more about him. But fantastic work by Nico. Let the dogs bark for him, because we've never let the dogs bark for Nico on this show before. All we've ever said forever is if Nico figures it out. And, man, that's awesome stuff. PFF grade of 91.8. Fantastic work, Nico. Fantastic work.
It was always if and when with him, and now we finally got the win.
We'll see how long we might come back to if and when again for Nico. I'm not sure. But real quick on our near miss, just have one on here. Virginia 30 at Louisville 27. Virginia snuck one out there, squeaked it out. It was a entertaining football game, and more to say about that later as well. Just good stuff from Virginia so far. The They Gone segment, obviously we're going to get into, I think, all 3 of these games actually. Penn State drops 37 at UCLA 42. We'll get there. Texas 21 at Florida 29. We'll get there. Iowa State 30 at Cincinnati 38. Good football game. This Cincinnati team is a little disrespected so far, I feel like, and you might see that we might be ones that get them some love in the top 25. So now let's roll right into you guys want to do our top 25 first, or you guys want to do the Heisman and national championship odds first? Which one do you guys want to do?
Give me the top 25.
Okay, let's go into our top 25. And the first thing that I'm going to say about our top 25 real quick before we get too far into this, I'll be a liar for saying I don't do this often. I am going to pat ourselves on the back because we were probably the only sports network, podcast, whatever you want to call us, in the entire nation, seriously, that did not have Texas and Penn State, or at least one of them, in our top 25 last week. And fellas, we didn't have either one of them in our top 25. And look what happens this week. They both lose. And now the AP poll doesn't have them in their top 25. Matter of fact, last week, I still think they were both in the top 10. For sure, top 14, I believe.
Top 10.
And look at us, fellas. Don't look at the AP poll. Tell your friends, tell your family. This top 25 is way more accurate than that top 25. I can promise you that. So moving on our top 25, if you're on Apple and Spotify, we'll read them out to you since you can't see our graphic that we make. Go check us out on YouTube, though, and look at these graphics. We put some time into these graphics, and they look damn good. So 25 through 21, Iowa State, 25. North Texas, 24. BYU, 23. Nebraska, 22. Cincinnati, 21. 20 through 16, Vandy, 20. Illinois, 19. Virginia, 18. LSU, 17. Memphis, 16. 15 through 11, 15 Georgia Tech. 14 USF. 13 Arizona State. 12 Tennessee. 11 Georgia. 10 through 6, Alabama 10, Texas Tech 9, Mizzou 8, Oklahoma 7, Indiana 6. In the top 5, we have Ole Miss, A&M, Oregon, Ohio State, and the U is number 1 still. Miami looking like a damn good football team. So Nolan Bryant, I'll let you guys take this over. Take it wherever you want to go. show some teams some love, talk about a team that you may think doesn't hang around on this list for long. Whatever you want to do, fellas, go ahead.
I want to start up at the top.
Okay.
The top 3 teams, I could hear an argument for any one of those 3 being the number 1 team at this point.
Yeah.
Because I think whoever comes out of the Big Ten, the champion, I should say, and gets their bye, I think it's them and Miami in the championship game. As of now, if you played it tomorrow, I think it's either going to be Ohio State, Oregon versus Miami. It's going to be some version of that, in my opinion. A&M, I don't know if you guys remember, I took their under to start our preview episodes. I was not a believer. They look like they can win a couple different ways, which is very different from the Texas A&M that we're used to. Last one here in the top 5, Ole Miss. I want to see how they finish. Lane Kiffin teams, they seem to start real hot because they schedule nobody and they just beat up on all these schools that they're paying millions to, and then they end up fizzling out end of the season. I mean, they had 2 games last year that if they would have won, would have put them in the playoffs. I'm interested to see if they can keep it rolling this year or not.
Speaking of a team that doesn't finish strong, that really blows it after November, late in the season, Mario Cristobal, 4-10 at Miami from November 1st, like after November 1st. So speaking of a team that needs to keep it on the tracks, I mean, we saw what happened to them last year looking like they were going to go to the playoffs, and I was a huge believer, and I loved me some Cam Ward, and you see them lose to Syracuse. Mm-hmm. So a team that needs to keep it on the tracks. Brian, what you got?
I just got a few things to say. I think of these G5 teams we see in here, the USF, Memphis, and North Texas, I think they're going to be sticking around. I think those teams have kind of came to the forefront of the G5, and USF and Memphis are in the same conference, so I think we'll see what happens there. But I think those guys are going to be sticking around just because they have easier schedules, and I think they're the better teams of the G5. On the rest of this list, we've seen some teams have a few setbacks, but rebounded. I think Iowa State's good right there at 25. They played a really good Cincinnati team, and that's why you see Cincinnati is right there ahead of them. As far as some of these other teams, I like what you said about A&M, Nolan, but, man, they've been playing with fire a little bit. They got to start playing full, complete games, not just second halves, in order to stay up there. So I think they're more than capable of doing that, but we need to see it. Interesting note on our top 25 here, we have 2 top 10 matchups this week out of our top 10 with Oregon, Indiana, and Missouri against Alabama. So there'll be some shakeup there, depending on what those matchups come out to be. Other than that, I like this list. I think this is the high-quality teams that have played games that are meaningful and have also passed the eye test at the same time, which is what our top 25 is really based on. Eye test plus what we see, the results, and, after week 3, not just basing on a little bit of preseason bias.
Absolutely. Well said. One thing with what you said, though, USF, Memphis, and North Texas, all 3 are in the same conference, I believe. I think Correct. They're all in the American Conference. And I think this week we have a USF North Texas matchup that on tomorrow night's episode, when we do our preview and our Book It segment, that we'll cover. That matchup we will cover on this show, I promise you, because that is that's one of the bigger games of the week. Whether people want to admit it or not, that's a high-quality football game to get your eyes on because it's fantastic. So the American Conference, I can't say obviously, but if I was to place a large wager, the American Conference is definitely going to have the play-in team. They're definitely going to have the team that makes the playoff, I should say, out of the G5, G6, whatever you want to call it now. So I'm with you guys. I'm all a team in here, and we were wrong last week. We get rid of them. I mean, we get rid of them based off what we see. We don't hold on to anything that we said this week on our top 25 for next week. Clean slate it. We update our charts. We go through them. We have discussion. And usually we got kind of put a rough draft out, and Nolan and Bryant and Dave all do a fantastic job of letting me know, like, hey, I think we need to move this here. We need to shuffle this here. And we have a good discussion over it. As Nolan likes to call it, we have some arguments over it, and that's what makes it fun. That's what we like doing. That's how we know we get the product right and get the best information for you guys. Anything else in our top 25?
Yeah, 2 more thoughts. Looking forward, BYU.
Yeah,
I have no confidence that they're going to stay in. They've played nobody this year. This is part of our argument that Colin's referencing. One
Yep.
team I did not bring up in the argument because I want you guys' honest reactions on this before I say this. I don't think LSU is going to be in this by the end of the year. I don't know if you guys looked at their schedule. They have serious offensive line problems. They have, what are we looking at here? Vandy, A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Arkansas still left on their schedule this year. I'm not a huge fan of Arkansas. Arkansas is still a dangerous team. And I don't know if LSU can block anybody long enough to give Garrett Nussmeier a chance to throw the ball.
Well, it's the same with Nuss, too. Is he healthy? Do the receivers better than what they have so far? They have way more questions than answers.
Yep. I project them next 2 weeks. They're both dropping out. I'm already calling it.
Yeah, unless we don't see some drastic change, I'm talking about LSU. I see them losing a couple more games and kind of being our first 5 out type team on this top 25 and maybe even lower for sure. Another team I want to keep an eye on, this is my last point. I'm not sure. I haven't read too deep. Is John Mateer coming back in a couple weeks? Is it next week?
He's trying to come back this week.
There's a shot he comes back this week.
There's not a good shot, but there's a shot.
Well, I'm just going to chalk it up that he's not going to play this week. But if Oklahoma can stay alive and stay in this top 10 with Hawkins playing like he is right now, it'd be interesting to see if they can keep their head above water and then get Mateer back and continue what he started this earlier in the season.
Yeah, I have a ton to say about that Oklahoma-Texas football game, which we'll get into that tomorrow night too. Oklahoma's good, man. This is one that, Brian, I'm pretty confident you and I are going to be wrong about and no one's going to be right about.
Yes, sir.
I had them a half game on the over of their win total, but they're good. Their defense is legit, the real deal. I mean, we took Kent State team total under 8.5 last week and they didn't score a damn point. So they did their job. Great defense. Anything else in this? Nolan, great point about BYU. I can't imagine them being here a whole lot longer. Bear Bachmeier, that's his name. He's a good quarterback, but and they have good receivers. And they're well coached. They have an aggressive defense. It is the Big 12 though. Maybe they do stick around. I don't know.
No, sir. Because if you want my argument for it, they have Utah, Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, Cincy, and UCF. That is their entire rest of the schedule. If you can tell me that they pull 3 wins out of there, I think that's a great job by BYU.
Yeah. I don't disagree. That's a rough schedule. That is a rough schedule, especially for the Big 12.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our let's go Heisman first. Let's have Heisman conversation first. Yep. As you see here on our Heisman list, once again, if you're on Spotify and Apple, I'll read these out. I'll read most of these out. Try to blow through this real quick so people don't get annoyed with that are watching on YouTube. Sam Levitt, Gunnar Stockton, John Mateer, Aguilar, CJ Carr, Marcel Reed, Trinidad Chambliss, Fernando Mendoza, Julian Stan, Jeremiah Smith, Ty Simpson, Carson Beck, Dante Moore at the top of this list. You know what we do every week, fellas. Give me one that you're getting rid of and you say has no chance, and give me one that if you were going to place a bet right now, who you take. Bryant, go.
I think I'm still sticking with what I've been. I think I'm going to stick with Carson Beck at that second slot. I think Miami's playing as one of the better teams in the country right now. I don't see that changing personally, so I'm going to stick with him. I would also probably take a flyer on Ty Simpson right below him as well. He's been playing really good as of late too, but they have some tough games coming up. Personally, I think I'm going to stay out of the Gunnar Stockton for sure.
Yeah.
And then probably we got to see more of Trinidad. He's only played 3 games. I think that'd be either one you're definitely going to be out, or maybe take even a flyer on possibly 2, kind of flip a 50-50 there. So that's what I think.
Nolan?
I think my number one to bet on would be Ty Simpson, kind of based on the Cam Ward stuff last year. Alabama's defense is good, but they're not the Alabama defense of the last 15 years. If they're going to win, they'll hold some teams under, say, 24, 28 points. You're going to have to get all of 30 if you're Alabama against some of these good teams like Miami and Georgia and all those teams. And Ty Simpson is slinging it, man. He looked real good. One person I'd like to point out that is not on this list, where's Luke Altmaier?
Yeah, dude, slinging it. Legit playing good football.
I'm not an Altmaier guy. I mean, you guys heard it before the season. I'm not too high on him, but he is slinging the rock, man. They found a receiver, just like Pat Bryant did for him last year and Hank Beatty. And he just seems to make catch after catch after catch. And if you can give Luke Altmaier that and they keep winning, I mean, he's got to be somewhere on these odds. I just don't know where it falls.
It seems like they wrote Illinois and him off after the Indiana loss, like mailed it in for the season for anything related to that team, seems like.
Well, what's so crazy about that, too, is after that game, Mendoza flies to the top of the list and is like a favorite by like 600. Like he's a heavy, heavy favorite after that game. And now we see him slipping back down this list real quick. And that's why that week, if you remember, all of us on here were like, don't touch this Mendoza. This is strictly hype right now. Do not touch the Mendoza thing. Let that be a thing of the past. And speaking of that, I'm selling CJ Carr. I'm not buying Joey Aguilar. I'm not buying Gunnar Stockton. I'm not buying Mendoza. I'm not buying most of the guys on this list. I would be shocked if 50% of this list is the list at the end of the season. Like most of these guys I'm legit not in on. I would say I'm in on Dante Moore. I would definitely be in on Beck. I would be in on Ty Simpson. So the top three I'm definitely in on. Probably, honestly, in on Jeremiah Smith and Julian Sand. So actually I'm in on the top 5. But after that, fellas, I'm not touching any of those. I'm not touching any of those at all. I mean, John Mateer, there's no way a guy that comes back from injury, he may play top level, that's fine. But missing that many games, there's no way anybody can make an argument for that he wins it. And kind of the same thing like Brian said with Trinidad. There's no way you miss the first 2-3 games, whatever it is of the season, and you don't have a full slate. I'm not buying that you were that much better than everybody else with the games that you were left to play. So I'm out on all those guys, and I think if I'm playing a safe bet, I'm sprinkling somewhere in the top 5 right there, and I'm going to throw a flyer, and this is not a homer pick. I would sprinkle money on Ahmad Hardy right now from Mizzou at running back, because if you're telling me I can get better than plus 3,000, and here's why I'm doing it. If they play Alabama this week, and we'll talk about that game tomorrow, but if he plays Alabama this week and has a fantastic week and runs for 150 plus, because Bama's run defense is not good, I'm in on Ahmad Hardy to fly up this list, and this is the best you're going to get it right now if there's a chance that he goes and gets it. I'm not saying it's likely, but if you're to sprinkle some heavy odds and try to get a good payout, I would be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Colin. I think you're going to see somebody come from off of this list and be right in the top 5 at the end of the season. It's going to get invited to New York.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm just not sure if Genty didn't win last year.
It's fair. Yeah.
I don't think I can jump on the Ahmad Hardy train. Can he make it to New York? Yes. Do I think he can win? No. If Genty didn't win last year, that's one of the all-time best seasons in college football. The other thing I want to point out how you said about Mendoza, if you believe that Indiana is a good team and you believe that they could squeak this game out, sprinkle a little bit of money on it.
Yes, if you think they can beat Oregon, get it now.
If you do think so, and they end up beating Oregon, he's going to jump straight up the odds again. And it's looking at their schedule. They have the Oregon game. They have Michigan State. They have UCLA. They got to beat Penn State still. I mean, if they end up with one loss at the end of the season and you're just splitting between Penn State and Oregon, Mendoza's going to go to New York.
Yeah. The only thing about the Genty thing that you brought up that I think it's different this year, I'm not saying Hardy's Genty, but what I am going to say is we don't have a Travis Hunter playing both ways. And none of these quarterbacks right here on this list are doing what they're not Cam Ward. Yeah. So that's why I think it's still kind of open for a position player outside of quarterback to have a chance. I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had Reuben Bain in the top 8 at one point, and he's a D lineman. So it's pretty open. So, and not to stay on the Heisman thing, let's get over to our national championship odds real quick. And hey, welcome in to the bottom of this list, the Missouri Tigers. And then up the list after that is Texas Tech, Notre Dame, Indiana, Texas. What the heck? Ole Miss, A&M, Oklahoma, Georgia, Miami, Alabama, Oregon, Ohio State. Pick one that you're betting on. Pick one that you're not touching with a 10-foot pole. No one go.
Betting on Miami at this point. I think they're just as likely as Ohio State and Oregon to win. And if you're giving me a better odds, I would much rather bet on Miami than Ohio State and Oregon.
Right?
Oh yeah, my pick was I thought Nolan was going to give his one he's out on. I think obviously we're all out on Texas. They shouldn't even be close to this list, so that's the one I'm out on, and I'm right with Nolan on the Miami pick. I think that's you're getting them at the fourth best odds, and I think, like he said, have just as good a chance as any of the three teams above them to make it and win. Why not do it? So that's my sprinkle.
Yeah, I'm selling on this. I'm selling off teams more than I'm investing on them right now. The Texas thing is, if you bet on Texas to win the national championship right now, I'm gonna shake your hand because or I'm just gonna say, hey, let me just hold on to that $100.
I'm gonna send you to the gambling hotline.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, fellas. I'm gonna invest a little bit on Texas Tech at plus 2,700.
Oh no. I was going to call them out after you guys were done about there is no shot in hell that they are winning it, dude.
You know why it's safe? Comment coming in from Leon. Miami for sure. Hey, Miami, Leon, safe bet. That's a good investment. You heard Nolan go with you on that one. Nolan, stop it for 1 second. Texas Tech is going to make the playoffs for sure. That's why I like it.
Do I think they're going to win a single game? No, they will not win a single game in the playoffs.
Oh, man.
Unless they get matched up against the G5 team, the rest of these teams are killing them. Because I think the Big Ten is probably going to have –
on this list, Texas, you think Texas kills Texas Tech?
Texas ain't making it either.
Notre Dame. Two teams that we think
making it either.
Okay. Miami, Texas Tech.
Mizzou will beat Texas Tech. Indiana will beat Texas Tech. Ole Miss, I think that's kind of a toss-up. Lane Kiffin's teams, I can't ever trust them. A&M, the way they look this year, I'd take them. Oklahoma, I'd take them. The top 5, I'd take them all against Texas Tech.
Texas Tech gets hot, baby. And they don't have just one quarterback. They got 2 quarterbacks.
I don't care. They don't have the dudes on the line of scrimmage that these other teams do.
That defense, I don't know. Hey, we're indifferent. We're indifferent.
We need like a water bet, an in-show water bet type thing. Like Nolan and Colin bet against each other.
What is a water bet, though?
It's something that basically you guys watch the Fantasy Footballers show, the NFL one. They kind of bet between each other sometimes, and they just bring up this wheel and spin it, and whatever wins has to do. It's called the water bet's what they call it. So
yeah, the odds would be so like Texas Tech to make the playoffs and then to win their first game would be like probably plus 600. It's like the odds would be heavily juiced to Nolan's side of this.
It wouldn't be like just it wouldn't be like an actual bet. It'd just be like a nudge at each other, like, hey, I bet they make it, and Nolan's like, no, I don't think they make it type thing.
Oh no, they're for sure gonna make it. It's just
I don't want
to win a game once they get there.
I don't want to like bet an eyebrow and shave an eyebrow off on this or something. Like
it wouldn't be that serious, but something like that.
But I mean, I like the Texas. I think Texas Tech can win a football game, depending on who they're matched up with. No. So, hey, time will tell. I'm gonna stamp this though, because if they do, I got to get the "I told you so," and if they don't, you can have it.
Yeah, it's more of a "told you so" type thing.
But all right, so we go on the national championship odds. Welcome, Mizzou. I'm gonna say it again. Look down at the bottom of that list if you're on YouTube with us. Mizzou is actually on one of our lists for once, getting some love out there on FanDuel. This list did come from FanDuel. All right, let's get right in then to our main game breakdowns. And the first thing that we want to do is on our main game review is talk Miami, Florida State. And I know Nolan's going to have a lot to say, so Bryant and myself will keep it brief. And after the notes that Bryant and I saw from Nolan last week, buckle up, get you a drink, because it's going to be a minute when he gets going. Miami 28 at Florida State 22. Miami moves to 5-0. Florida State 3-2. So, Bryant, give me your spark notes real quick on what you saw in this football game.
I'll start with the Miami side. I'll start on the defensive side of the ball. I thought they were in Florida State's backfield almost all game, making it hard on Castellanos, forcing him to make plays with his legs, and also having to throw the ball a lot because they were stopping the run pretty early and often until that last fourth quarter, personally. So I thought Miami's defense looked pretty good, and as they have this season thus far. On the offensive side of the ball, they were not able to run the ball very well. So Florida State did a good job there. But, man, Carson Beck made up with it through the air. Malachi Toney is elite with the ball in his hands. He even had another touchdown called back. That was insane, an insane play. So credit to Carson Beck. Made all the throws when needed to. Didn't really make a whole lot of mistakes at all, besides taking a bad sack in that game there late to give FSU a little bit of a chance. But on the FSU side, defensively, I didn't think they played that bad either. It was just that they couldn't really finish plays, it seemed like, and then they let Malachi Toney and CJ Daniels get open down the field on 2 big touchdowns that put them ahead early. But credit to them for bolting down there in the mid to late second half and stopping them, giving them a chance. On the offensive side of the ball, Florida State did not run the ball that well, besides really Castellanos personally. He was the leading rusher in this game. But on the offensive side of the ball, they just threw the ball too much personally. I think Colin has that in his notes here. You're not going to win many games with Castellanos throwing the ball. What was it, 46 times? What does that say?
45 times.
45 times, yeah. You're not going to be able to do that. So, but credit to them for trying to come back. It was just too late. I did like what I saw out of the receivers that were catching the ball when they did throw. LaWayne McCoy, Nolan, he looks like he could be a little bit better this year and be a better weapon for them moving forward. Another weapon to get the ball into. Granted, it was a lot of garbage time stuff, but he looked good for a young player. But yeah, Florida State's got to be able to run the ball better if they're going to be competitive in these games and not trust so much on Castellanos to throw the ball, because he doesn't seem to thrive when they do that.
A lot of what Brian said, I'm going to roll right with. A couple things that I'm going to elaborate on or even push back on a little bit. One, Brian, I'm anxious to see what Nolan says about this. I'm going to push back on the receivers a little bit. I think that is a weakness for Florida State. I'm not impressed with any of them. I'll be honest with you. Deuce Robinson, yeah, okay. I mean, but that definitely I don't feel is a good recipe to be your number one and win a lot of football games. I don't love what I see out of him. The Gus Malzahn offense is not designed to throw the ball 45 times. You're not going to win a lot of football games throwing in the Gus offense 45 times. So I think that is a massive strike. Hey, my brother's in here tonight. Thanks for joining us, brother. 45 times not going to work. Also with Florida State a little bit, I think they struggle pursuing and tackling at the point of attack on the football, because there was a lot of plays that were line of scrimmage passes from a Malachi Toney, who everybody knows I've been talking about for 3 or 4 weeks. I'm calling him the next Tyreek for weeks now. I think he solidified my point this week, and he's incredible. But I think Florida State could be a little bit better at the point of attack when guys catch the ball at the line of scrimmage. I think that's where they struggle a little bit. I do think they're still a good football team, so I'm not writing them off. I think they're going to win a lot of football games moving forward. Those are just some things that I think that they have to sharpen up to have more success, because we saw a different Florida State football team in week 1 against Alabama than what we're seeing right now, which I get it. You had months to prepare for that football game. You had months to get a script in. You had months to get everything right. They have to stay sharp moving forward. I think they still have a chance to make some noise and potentially maybe find themselves into a bid into the playoffs. It's going to be hard, but I think there's a lot to show in that Alabama win. I mean, you can hang your hat on that, and a loss to Miami is not bad. And hell, Virginia's looking great. So still a decent resume. I think they're better than what they played in this football game, but also I think Miami took their foot off the gas. You see a lot of this shit, and you see this come back in some of these stats because Miami dropped into a shell defense, and Mario did what Mario does and gave another team a chance to come get another one out of his hands when he already had it wrapped up. I mean, I think they could have got nasty in this football game if they wanted to and won it by 3 scores, 4 scores. I just think they didn't. Like, that's the one thing with Miami again. Stop letting teams come back, dude. Keep your foot on the gas. You're Miami. You're Mario Cristobal. Get style points. Beat the shit out of teams. Stay on it, because you have so many times let this happen in your career. Stop letting it happen. With Miami on the offense and defense, best trenches in the game. We've been saying it for weeks on this network. They are fantastic on both sides of the ball up front. There's nobody better out there than them, I don't think. Malachi Toney, CJ Daniels moving forward. Good luck to defenses. One of those guys is always open, and they're great with the ball in their hands. Carson Beck, thought he looked pretty sharp. I was curious to see how he looked in this football game. I was anxious to see if he had some zip on the ball. I think he answered all those questions. 4 touchdowns, 241 yards, only 7 incompletions. I liked what I saw from Carson Beck. I think there's still more to be desired from Carson Beck, especially if they're going to have a lot of success down the stretch. I like what I see from from Miami so far. 2 bad interceptions from Castellanos. That's also what killed him in this football game. I'm going to let Nolan take it from there. I said a note earlier when Nolan brought up I forget who Nolan brought up, A&M or Ole Miss moving forward down the stretch, winning football games. I said it earlier. Mario Cristobal, 4-10 from November on at Miami. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just keep it simple. Don't do that. Win football games in November through the rest of October. Miami, sky's the limit for Miami football team. Nolan, floor is yours.
You want me to start on the Miami side or the Florida State side? It's up to you.
I want you to start whatever makes you happy. Well, nothing's going to make you happy. I want to start whatever makes the rage. I want to see some rage a little bit.
Give me a second. I need to grab my popcorn.
Yeah, I want to bang on the table or something.
Because the number one thing in this game, overarching thought, I don't care if you're talking X's and O's, if you're talking Jimmys and Joes, the number one overarching thought is Miami has out-recruited Florida State for the last 6 years in a row, head and shoulders above what Florida State's doing. And it shows in this game. They have difference makers all over the field. Florida State just has guys all over the field. It is just insane. So number one overarching thought. Let's go to the Florida State offense because we're just going to run down my list here. Why are we not running Thomas Castellanos more? Why are we not just giving him the option? I know you said they dropped back or he threw 45 passes. He dropped back 55 times. He had 10 scrambles. I say just do that. If we're not just giving it to the running back, let him drop back. Tell him if the first read's not open, if your dump off isn't open, just take off, dude.
I agree with that because he's a one-look guy only.
Yeah. He's not. Yeah. I don't know if you guys think this as well. He's not an NFL quarterback in no way, shape, or form. So let's get all we can out of it this year. He's talking about maybe wanting to play again in college football next year. Cool. If you do that, awesome. I would love for you to stay because you fit super well in the Gus Malzahn offense. But let's just drop back. Let's just give you the option.
He needs to go like the Brad Smith route and move to slot receiver or something.
That's fine. He's not a quarterback.
Watching this game, I felt like Miami's defensive ends were getting so far up the field, and that guard tackle gap was wide open. And when he was, looking the first read and it wasn't there, taking off, he was getting 10-plus yards every time. It's like, why not? If the first read's not open and you throw it, fine. But if it's not open, go. And that was in my preview notes to you guys. The Miami defensive ends, they're good pass rushers. They just get too far up the field and try and collapse the pocket because they know they have game wreckers on the inside that'll try and clear it up. It's just they haven't played anybody like Castellanos yet. I should say in garbage time, they gave up a lot, yes. But after probably midway through the first quarter, you did not see the defensive ends get too far upfield anymore. And more than 50%, basically right at 50% of Florida State's yards came in the fourth quarter. So you're looking at their total yards of 404. Almost 202 of those yards came in the fourth quarter when it was 28-3 in Miami.
That's that shell defense.
Well, that's the thing. I know you said it was Cristobal. He was pissed. He was yelling at people, focus. He was telling people, keep your damn head in the game. You could read his lips. I'm not sure he's the one that let off the gas in this situation. Also, I'm not sure how much coaching he should actually do. He's not really a X's and O's coach. Let him go recruit, get you all the players, tell your DC and OC, you guys take it from here. So I would be more inclined, based on just his reaction and how fired up he was, that it's more the OC DC fault taking their foot off the gas. But then we also talk about the offensive line and the defensive line for Miami. Offensive line for Florida State, our right tackle, Micah Pettis, got hurt about midway through the second quarter. We decided to put our starting right guard out at right tackle and bring in our backup right guard. We have backup tackles. There's a highly recruited freshman, sophomore that we have, Lucas Simmons. He was recruited to play tackle. What are we doing not putting him in the game? Either he is just underdeveloped and our offensive line coach has not developed him the way that he needs to, or we're just scared of putting a young guy in there against Ruben Bain. Scary situation, yes, but Jesus Christ, you got to give the kid some kind of chance.
Well, when it wasn't working, try something. when it wasn't working, then try something different.
It's just crazy. The other big gripe on offense, I understand the receiver thing. I will push back on Deuce Robinson. He is a really good receiver. He was bracket coverage nearly the entire game. The corner and then safety over the top or corner over the top, or linebacker underneath, kind of taking away those in-breaking routes. He's a really good receiver, and I think he would be the number one on many, many squads this year in college football, and he would do really well if they just had a number two. Randy Pittman is good at those underneath routes about 5 yards max downfield. It's just nobody else can run a good route. And then my final gripe on the Florida State offense, I don't know why we continue giving Gavin Sawchuk the ball. He looks like he's tiptoeing up to the line. Can we please just give Usman Chroma, and I don't know where Keziah Holmes is, what he did to the coaching staff, but he needs to get the ball as well. Usman needs to get 20 carries. If we're giving the ball to our running backs 30 times, Chroma needs 20, Keziah Holmes needs 10. Get Sawchuk out, get Roydell Williams out. I don't want to see him on the field anymore.
Yeah, the Sawchuk thing didn't work at Oklahoma. That's why he left. I'm with you. It doesn't need to work here. Well, it's not working. So it needs to be a thing of the past. I'm with you. Chroma looks legit. I would feed him the ball over anybody else. Not close, in my opinion. Anything else? Go ahead. Sorry, Brian.
Where's Squirrel White, Nolan? I thought he was supposed to be the guy coming in from Tennessee that can make some plays, especially down the field.
Deep threat, but that's not what Thomas Castellanos does. That's not the Gus Malzahn offense. You need somebody to stretch the field, yes, but we're not going to throw it downfield if we can't block the damn defensive line.
Yeah.
Punt return. We're a fan of Squirrel White on this network. He's a deep threat.
I like Squirrel White.
That's kind of why I was saying that in my note about McCoy. He looked like he was actually running pretty good routes and getting open on a non-deep type balls. Granted, he only caught 3 of them, but they were all really big catches when they needed them, including a touchdown. So I think that's a positive note. Granted, there's still a bunch of work to do there. I personally also think they need to get Danzy more involved with his speed on end arounds and maybe like screens or tunnel screens or something like that too.
He's another one. He can't run a route is the problem. We can throw him all the screens we want, but then we line up and, I mean, people know that they can just kind of run through our offensive line isn't as bad as it has been in the past, but people know they don't really have to bring extra pressure, so they can put 3-on-2 out there, and we got one receiver to block 3 guys. It's not going to work from a screen perspective then. That's my problem with it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cut it a little bit shorter. I won't even go over the defenses because the FSU defense was just abysmal. I don't even have a positive note about the Florida State defense at this point. The Miami offense, let's talk about them because I did hear you, Colin, you said you thought Beck looked pretty good. I agree at his underneath stuff. The over-the-top stuff, I don't know if you guys read this in my notes to you guys. He completed the 2 deep passes, yes, but it was just the lob them up, let your receiver run under it type thing. I am still looking for him to complete that deep out route, like 20, 25 yards downfield, and I'm still looking for him to complete a ball in like a cover 2 defense where you have to fit it in between the safety and the corner, and you really have to throw a line drive to fit it in that window. That is what I'm really looking for after his Tommy John surgery he had last year, and he still has not proven it yet. He might not have to all season with how good the Miami offensive line is. Nobody can get any pressure on them. So I'm not sure it's even going to matter. And then the other thing is, you guys are going to call me crazy when I say this. For this Miami team, I think this offense is better than last year. They won't have the gaudy numbers. They won't have a Heisman winner, but they can do run and pass whenever they feel like against whoever they feel like this year. And to me, a more balanced offense is a better offense rather than just Cam Ward, please go save us.
I'm taking Cam Ward over Carson Beck on that, and that's it. That's the only change I would make.
That's fine. You can have Cam Ward, but if you give me the option of last year's offense versus this year's offense, I really do think I'm going to take this year's offense.
I don't disagree. This Miami team is legit. Very legit. Anything else on this game? And buckle up. We're going to go along this episode, just so you guys know. Anything else on this episode or this game?
I got another hour's worth, but I'll cut it short.
Well, we'll have more Florida State talk down the road. I can promise you that. Let's move on to this next football game then. And on this one, I'm going to nominate myself to go last because Penn State 37 at UCLA 42. Penn State 3-2. UCLA gets their first win against this national championship preseason favorite Penn State football team. And everybody knows I don't think James Franklin's good, and he is making me look really good. So, Bryant, what do you have on this football game?
I'll start on UCLA. On the defensive side of the ball for them, wasn't the best. Obviously, we know they're not the greatest defense out there. They kind of let Penn State back in the game multiple times. It worked out in the end, but not a great effort for them on defense. But if you talk about the offense side of the ball for them, man, Nico and that offense definitely bailed them out. Great plays down the field. I thought Penn State's defensive lineman, like I mentioned with Miami's a little bit, got way too far up the field. And Nico was just running right through that guard tackle gap and sometimes even right up the middle and just gashing them for big-time plays on the ground. And he did that all game for them. So credit to that UCLA team. What a crazy win especially for the new Heisel, the new offensive coordinator for that was celebrating there at the end on top of the players. That was a cool shot if you didn't see it. Credit them for winning the game. On the Penn State side of the ball, boys, I really don't know what to say. I don't have a lot of notes on them because I'm kind of lost for words.
What notes would you
have? There couldn't be – the only really bright spot I saw maybe in this game at all for them was Drew Aller can maybe run a little bit. Looked a little bit good with his legs, but if Drew Aller's running the ball this much and getting that many yards, it's a problem.
He ran the ball on a shit-ass UCLA defense that was 0-4.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what's the issue with their running game. They have no receivers on the outside. Drew Aller, he can sling it, but he's not good at actually slinging it in a football game. So I don't really know what to say from that standpoint. And their defense is absolutely atrocious. Where's this elite defense that we're used to them having and thought they may have had coming into this season? It's just all out embarrassing for them. I'm glad that they're really being pushed aside and no longer going to be talked about as one of the best teams in the country because, like you mentioned earlier, with them not being in our top 25, I don't think there should be another discussion with them at all being even close to that.
They suck. Nolan, what do you got?
Less about the X's and O's. I don't know if you guys heard the stories out of UCLA after the game.
Couldn't work headsets.
Nico Iamaleava calling his own plays because the coaches didn't know how to work the headsets. They had 2 days to implement the offensive game plan. I have no idea how in the hell Penn State can lose this game. I am of the opinion James Franklin is a good coach. I did not say great. I am of the opinion he is a good coach. After this, wins his buyout. When's his contract over? What is the buyout?
I think it's time to have that talk.
This is.
I want to hear you guys say it so bad. Say it. Just say it. Just say, Colin, you were right.
This is unacceptable, dude.
It's ass. This is this. I don't know Penn State's losses for every year since they've been a program, but this has got to be one of, if not the worst loss in Penn State history. Dude, They were like 25-point favorites, and everything you just said about UCLA is laughable. Laughable. Dude, ULM would have went in and beat UCLA this week. This is horrible. Credit to UCLA. I'm going to give them no credit because they had no game plan, no structure, no idea what the hell they were doing. They barely had bags and footballs to go to the football game at their own stadium. Credit to them for finding a way to win a football game and there will be no upset bigger than this one in the season. I don't care what happens moving forward. Everybody thought Penn State was on the national championship. This team sucks. Their coaching staff, not good. You bring in Jim Knowles, who is a world beater defensive coordinator, and this defense was supposed to be the best defense in the country. Dude.
I have one point about that. If you go back and look at Jim Knowles' year one with each team, their defenses are not great because it's such a complex system that everybody has to kind of figure out what's going on. Still, that is no excuse to lose to this UCLA team. They did not make a single adjustment until the fourth quarter when they finally decided to spy Nico with denied Dennis Sutton, the fastest player on UCLA's team. They decided to put their defensive end, who is not their fastest player on the defense, to spy. It's a terrible idea, but at the same time, at least they decided to spy him. I just don't know why it took 3 quarters to figure this out.
Dude, and like if your defensive system's hard to pick up and it's hard to work out, that's fine if you lose a game to like Oregon, like last week. That's fine. That's fine. But you out-talent UCLA at every position. What do you got, Brian?
I was just going to say, I don't think it's 100% on the offensive side of the ball for Penn State. I don't think it's Colton Nickley 100% his problem either. Like, he's not calling a horrible game plan. It's just these guys are not making plays at all.
They're just not good. Like
they're not good.
They have missed in the portal again on receivers. Like Trebor Pena lit it up at Syracuse last year. So maybe it is 100% on Drew Aller and the coaching staff because this guy had success at Syracuse.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's a mixture. I don't think it's all on. Obviously, they're not playing the game. I don't think it's all Colton Nickley. He's calling a decent game. Just they're just not. They're not good.
You're behind in this whole entire football game, and your leading receiver has 52 yards.
Yeah,
you're behind in this football game the whole entire time, and your awesome quarterback that you claim is awesome only has 26 passes and 19 completions for 200 yards. What's so awesome about that? What's so awesome about your team? Nothing. The UCLA hasn't led a minute of football the whole entire season until this game. UCLA was 0-4. I'm going to say it again. 0-4. And you're a 25-point underdog against what everybody thought was a national champion favorite. Katron Allen and Nick Singleton, fellas, what the hell happened? We need to study the fall off of those two. Horrible.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Like that is bad. Like when both of these guys' names were in Heisman conversations preseason, and you mean to tell me that we had 19 combined carries for 89 yards against UCLA? I'm telling you, when I say this is not a joke. When I say ULM could have came in and had more yards on the ground than what Penn State did against UCLA. I could go on for the next 45 minutes about how bad I think this Penn State coaching staff is right now, how bad the personnel is on the field right now. I don't know if they're just completely not bought in. I don't know if the national championship hype got to them and they lose a game and they just sell out. I don't know. But nothing right now is right. And it's a damn shame for the Penn State fans because, I mean, Nolan, you're a Florida State fan. You've had your highs and lows with them, and Bryant and me are Mizzou fans, and we've had our hype and fall flat on our face. This sucks for the Penn State fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer for Penn State. Drew Aller is not it. I think when Drew Aller goes away, I think this football team gets better.
I agree. And another thing that kind of made me mad, my last point on this game, was James Franklin in his press conference this week. He kept talking about, we had to travel all the way out to Los Angeles and all this baloney. It's like that right there just tells the story because he's just trying to find a scapegoat that's literally not him when it's 1,000%.
It's on you, man. If your team wasn't ready for the travel, that's on you, buddy. Miss me with that bullshit, dude. Every team travels. Stanford flat ass comes
Oregon
over and plays football games. They're in the ACC, and they're all the way out on the other side of the country.
Oregon has the most miles traveled of any team in the country, or at least top 5, I'm pretty sure I read this week. So they're winning. Oregon
traveled to Penn State, and beat your ass at your field. You didn't travel very far for that game.
No, so that made me mad, and that just put a nail. I think it's time to. I think the seat's getting pretty hot.
UCLA was 6 for 6 in the red zone, fellas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
6 for 6 in the red zone and punted one time the whole game. Great defense, Penn State. You guys are damn good. I'm glad you were like probably the most bet team to win a national championship this year. Whew. Good God. Anything else on this game? This is horrible. Horrible.
I do. I have one more thing, and this is the transition to the next game too. These coaches, I'm calling out Dabo here. I'm calling out Kirby here. I'm calling out James Franklin here, and I'm calling out Sark. Quit having a loser mentality.
Yes.
You're talking about flying across the country and
Wow.
losing. Dabo's talking about, well, what's the other team's record against it? What Sark's calling out, what's the other 135 teams' record against them?
Wow.
That's a loser mentality, dude.
Loser
You're
mentality.
a coach, you're there to win games.
You're Texas.
Especially if you're at Penn State, Clemson, Georgia, and Texas. Those are 4 of the top programs in the entire country. Quit complaining about other people and just go win your damn games.
Yeah, I don't hear John Summerall saying that in his interviews. I don't hear Golish from USF using that in his. Those guys are coaching way less talented teams and not using that bullshit as an excuse. And they're playing Power 4 teams and they're traveling and they're beating ass. It's horrible. That's
USF is winning.
That's 100% why James Franklin and Sark are losers. They have some success and they had some success last year, but that's why in the overall grand scheme of things, and we're going to go right into that game right now too, because Sark shouldn't get off the hook either, because he's 2-8 versus top 10 teams of Texas and 5-18 all time against top 10 teams. So he's a loser too. This score right here proves that he's a loser too. 21 points at Florida 29. Florida had 1 win going into this football game. I know they had a hard schedule, but now they're 2-3, and their 1 win is against Texas, who's now 3-2. And Texas was the number 1 team coming into the season, and Penn State was the number 2 team coming into the season, and you both look like ass. It's a coaching problem all the way around. Nolan, what you got in this football game?
Again, calling out Sark's comments, talking about the other 135 teams, what their record is in the swamp. You want to know how hard it is to play there? I don't doubt that it's hard, but USF went in and beat them.
USF won there.
Yeah.
Wow.
I understand it's a hard place to play. The swamp is one of the top 5 places to play. But if USF can go steal a game from them, so can you. Sark's play calling, I know he still has a lot to do with it. That's the word on the street. It's just not great. It's either a deep pass or it's a screen behind the line, and there is no short game, kind of intermediate game. It is just it's a deep ball or it's a screen, and I don't know why they are just disregarding anywhere between 3 yards to 15 yards downfield. I know Arch Manning, his mechanics just look messed up. If you look last year compared to this year, he was coming over the top last year. He wasn't doing, I say it's like the Phillip Rivers, like shot put type thing is kind of what it looks like. Yeah, it's low and it just doesn't look right. I don't know if he's hurt, whatever. I'm not going to speculate on that. Maybe that's the reason they can't throw their short and intermediate routes, because he can't get it over the linemen. But they got to do something. From the Florida side of the ball,
very few quarterbacks have success from that arm angle.
There's one, Phillip Rivers,
Bingo.
And it was because his shoulder was messed up at the end of his career.
Yep.
And he is a, 20-year, maybe not 20, 15, 16-year NFL vet that everybody regards as a very cerebral quarterback.
Yep.
Arch Manning does not look that way.
And they lived over the middle of the field. There's a reason why Antonio Gates is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Bingo.
The Florida side of the ball, I mean, their defense is just so good.
It is good.
It is real good. If they had a mediocre offense, I'm not even asking for good, just slightly less than average offense, they're having a couple more wins on the season. And can we please get Jaden Ball the football more? He should have all of 25 carries every single game. It's crazy. And then Dallas Wilson.
That's the difference, right? This guy right here.
Yep.
Monster. Man, I don't even know what to say about it. It's just amazing to watch. Makes me nervous for the last game of the season, Florida State, Florida, because if you give that guy another 6 weeks to get right, get with DJ Lagway, who he was limping at the end of the game. I don't know if you guys saw that as well.
That's normal. That's normal.
We'll see.
What's new?
But give old boy 6 more weeks of practice, 6 more weeks of games. I'm a little nervous. I don't think we got anybody that can cover him.
No, he's 6 for 111 and 2 touchdowns in his first game.
Yeah.
That's what they needed.
And that second touchdown was an absolute just give me the ball. I'm going to run.
I'm going to go
Push
get
the
it.
guy over, catch the ball, outrun 2 dudes, and then pop the guy that tries to attack you right for the end zone and just walk in, start dancing. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But
what do you got, Bryant?
I'll start with Florida. I thought they looked pretty prepared and executed well on both sides of the ball. I agree with Nolan. I think their defense is definitely the strong suit of their team. I still don't think they're world beaters on offense, but they seem to kind of figure out what they needed to do to be efficient on that side of the ball with running the ball to Jaden Ball and then getting Dallas Wilson and some other guys involved besides just putting it all on DJ Lagway. This was by far their best game from the season on that side of the ball. Yeah. On Texas's side, I thought their defense played okay, not great. I think they kept them in the game when it could have got a little ugly, but they still have a bunch to work on. I think they need to get better at the pass rush. Still think it's not as good as it should be, and being a little bit more glued on receivers down the field too. And then my biggest gripe for them is on offense. They have zero rushing attack.
None.
I think it's a combination of offensive line and just the guys they have back there. They're both of those units are not playing well whatsoever. And then the Arch Manning thing, he cannot read a defense whatsoever. 2 picks in this game, which were gimmies. He just gets happy feet and tries to run. Sometimes he makes some plays, 1 in every 5. The rest, he gets tripped up and falls for negative yards and sack or like 2 yards. And then, like Nolan mentioned, they just have no continuity on offense. They don't run anything over the middle or intermediate at all. They just chuck it and hope to get lucky. And they happened to get lucky twice in this game and kind of came back. But this game was solely in Florida's hand the whole time, pretty much the entire game.
One of the main note I have here is that Texas's offensive line is not good. That doesn't help Arch Manning. When your quarterback's already struggling and can't read a defense and your offensive line's not good, it's a bad recipe. That's what you saw in this football game. You're right. Arch Manning cannot read a defense. Arch Manning cannot do pre-snap adjustments. Arch Manning has no idea where the blitz is coming from. He has no idea how to get the blitz picked up. It's bad. And it's time to have a conversation that, does Arch Manning get benched? Is it going to be the biggest headline in college football in that week? It will be. But Sark needs to understand that is the route that it needs to go. They benched Quinn Ewers last year for a week, I think, or two, and I think it was just a week, to allow him to get a breather and get some space and get his mind right. That needs to seriously probably happen here for Arch Manning, because it is flat going the wrong direction, and it's only getting worse, man. 55.2% completion this week. It is not good. I don't think the receivers are all that great, and when your offensive line's not good and your rushing attack is horrible, it's hard. It's really, really hard, and nobody's scared of him to beat them throwing the football. That's also why the run game is not good. Nobody is afraid to stack the box on you because you're not throwing guys open. And I just don't think they're that good of a football team offensively moving forward. I think they're going to have tons of losses, not success. I almost said success. Jesus. They were 3-11 on third down. They're just limited, man. They're not a good football team. I also think this was also one of my main points I wanted to say before we get off this game. I don't think Texas or Florida looked that good. I just don't think Texas is good at all. I think that one highlight is Florida's defense and Dallas Wilson and Ball. I mean, he got the ball 27 times. But outside of that, I just don't think they're that good. I said that last week on the preview. I don't think they had the skill position guys. Wilson showed up this week. It was his first game. That changed everything. Give him a different dynamic. But I just don't think they're that feared moving forward. This was a good game for Lagway. Yeah, 21-28, 298, and 2 touchdowns. But he's still not scaring me if I'm playing Florida moving forward until he can prove that he can do it again. I mean, they got up for this football game. Game. Texas was coming to town. They wanted to make a statement. So they just got to find the motivation moving forward. Billy Napier does just enough to keep his job, man. He does just enough to keep his job once again. And in 2 weeks, we're going to probably have the conversation again. Is Billy Napier gone? That's a revolving door. That's a very cyclical conversation that's not dead yet. Anything else in this football game? You fellas covered it pretty well. Didn't leave me much to say. Good? Okay. Let's go to another banger football game that had a lot of revenge talk and conversation. Vanderbilt 14, Alabama 30. Vandy's 5-1 now. Bama's 4-1 now. Really good football game. Vanderbilt comes out and scores first, and I had that thought in my head. I was like, oh, shit, it might happen again. And Alabama, once again at halftime, made the adjustments. That's what they're really good at, is making the adjustments at halftime. And everything changed. Alabama kicked that ass up and down the field from that point forward, in my opinion. Bryant, what do you got on this one?
I'll start with Vanderbilt. On the defensive side of the ball, granted they're playing. This is the best team they played. I didn't think they played too terribly bad, but, man, they were just getting picked apart in the secondary with Ty Simpson throwing the ball, and that bit them in the foot. And like you mentioned earlier, they scored in their last 5 drives, and that was partly because of Vandy's defenses could not cover them and tackle at whatsoever. They just kind of lost it. I thought the defensive line played a little bit better. Alabama didn't rush the ball too. I mean, they did. Jam Miller looked better, but, Vandy didn't do horrible there. On the offensive side of the ball, one thing that's funny, what is Pavia doing practicing kneeling the ball before the game started?
Dude, listen, that is like the most arrogant, funny shit I've ever seen. I thought it was hilarious. Especially because it didn't work out for him. But I thought
it was funny, but come on, man. Like, nonetheless, I think they had a pretty good game. They were able to run the ball a little bit better than I thought they would. He was not bad passing. He made a couple good plays, but 2 bonehead plays, and then they could not finish in the red zone. Man, if they finish in the red zone, Vandy's probably winning this football game, or it's really close. They had multiple drives where they turned it over in the red zone or up close to it, and Alabama grabbed the ball and then they made something happen. So Vandy's a lot better football team than I expected them to be. I think they'll be right there in a bunch of the games they play, but they got some work to do, and I think this was a good game for them to figure that out. On the Bama side of things, their defense, they did really good. I thought they were putting pressure on Pavia, making him make the throws, and also wonder how he's going to get out of the pocket whenever it was collapsing. Thought they did a good job gluing on to the guys deep in the secondary as well. So credit to them. On the offensive side of the ball, I think this was a showing out party for Alabama. Jam Miller looks healthy, run the ball well. Then Ty Simpson, man, this was a great game for him. Had the 1 pick, but other than that, he looked really, really good, shooting up Heisman boards. The wide receivers we talked about in the preview all showed up. They're going to be a tough team to stop on that offensive side for them. That's going to be definitely their mainstay moving forward.
What you got, Noel?
I'm just in the mood to call people out tonight, I guess. I don't know. I'm calling Pavia out at this point. I understand talking all your stuff all week, kneeling before the game. You're a confident dude.
I still think it's funny, though.
But did you see what he did after the game?
Yeah, that is ignorant. Yeah, get into the locker room.
If you're going to talk shit, you better be able to handle it.
And he couldn't.
And he could not.
Only note I have about Vanderbilt. Alabama, I think they have the college version of the tush push in just giving Caden Proctor the ball on less than 2-yard run. Just keep giving it to him. But I'm also wondering, I know this is the second week in a row that they've done it. You think this is just Alabama's way of kind of teasing Vanderbilt, like, hey, it don't matter. We'll give it to the 370-pound dude, and he'll get a first down?
I think you see that. I think you see Proctor getting the ball moving forward like remainder of the season still.
You don't think this is just teasing him as retaliation for whatever Pavia was saying all week?
No, because it did it the week before, too. That's the only reason I think this.
I don't know. I almost think it was intentional both weeks, I would argue, because you're playing your rival last week in Georgia. Listen, we can do whatever we want. We'll throw this guy the ball. I don't care. We'll still beat you. This week, I don't care. We'll give our 370-pounder the ball. You still can't beat us. It don't matter what you do. I almost think it's Alabama kind of teasing people at this point.
I think with the Pavia note that you guys had, I do agree. The arrogance, it was good to get egg on his face here. He had to eat some crow here. I think how does he bounce back and how does Clark Lee get this team back in order like as a whole and be like, okay, we got punched in the mouth. Let's settle down on the arrogance a little bit. We are still Vanderbilt, dude. We don't have the pedigree to come out here and act like we are the Alabamas and Georgias of the world. Let's get back and play with the chip on our shoulder that we used to play with and stop being so damn arrogant and use the chip as an advantage, not be tools about it, man. Go play football. Keep it on your shoulder and go out there and prove a point every game. Stop acting like somebody has to come beat you. No, you are still Vanderbilt. You still have to go beat them. That is what you are, and accept that. And if they play like that, because Pavia is a guy that can play like that, go play like that. That is what I like from this Vanderbilt football team. When they do that, that's what makes them good. My one question for Vanderbilt in this football game is why the hell did you get away from the run so quick? It was working. The run worked. You see Cedric Alexander bust a long one out for a touchdown. It's like a 65-yarder. Why did you get away from that? And he only ended up having 4 total carries on the football game. Like, feed your running backs, man. They struggle. Bama, that is, struggles defending the run. Stop getting away from that, man. You had the recipe right there in the beginning to win a football game, and you got away from it. Also, the turnovers from Pavia in the red zone, horrible, really, really bad. You're right, Brian.
That changes the game right there, man.
That was the difference in this football game. 100%. Yep. I'm with you. Also, you guys covered it really well, though, but Alabama looks really, really good on offense. Vanderbilt had no match for their receivers. That is a problem if you play Alabama, because Simpson can throw guys open. The timing is good from Simpson when guys are getting open on their breaks. He's very good at getting it to them. Like we saw in week 1, he struggled doing that against Florida State. That's where he struggled. That was his only struggle, in my opinion, was his timing. Ever since then, he has the routes instilled in his brain, and he knows where they're at. Looks really damn good. This receiving core as a whole, pretty good. The rushing attack from Jam Miller this week did exactly what he needed to do to get this team some confidence. Love what I saw from Bama. Vanderbilt needs to get the chip back, play with it moving forward, and I think they still can have some success. I'm going to say it again. I thought the kneeing before the game was one of the funniest things I've ever seen, though. I just thought it's not funny because they ended up losing, but, dude, if they would have won, and that was a highlight of the game, is him practicing a knee. Literally, if you haven't seen the video, go look it up on YouTube or something. The dude is literally under center, and he has a full hut, and then gets the ball and takes the knee. Funniest shit I've seen. But
do we expect anything different when you hang out with Johnny Manziel all week?
That's also get him away from Johnny Manziel. That's also
that's the wrong person to hang out with. Hang out with him in February and March.
That's why he's mentoring him to not do what he did, not make the same mistakes.
But then you see Johnny Manziel flipping birds off to the guys during the game on the sideline. Like, Johnny Manziel has not changed. He can go on a podcast and say whatever he wants, but he hasn't changed.
No, and he has no repercussions if he does those things. That's what Pavia needs to realize. Pavia does have repercussions right now still. Johnny Manziel doesn't. His days are behind him. He does what he wants. So I think that's what I said a second ago. Clark Lee needs to get the team back under control. Let them remember who they are, what they came in with last year, and how they played last year. Play that hard-nosed, chippy football, and they'll be fine. They just don't have the talent at receiver, in my opinion, outside of Stowers, and he got bottled up in this football game.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else here before we go into the quickie segment? All right, fellas. Let's get right over into our quickies then. The first 2 were actually mine. I'll knock my 2 out real quick. First game on the quickie segment, Mississippi State 9, Texas A&M 31. A slow starting football game. Wasn't too entertaining at first. We saw Texas A&M, though, kind of settle in and really kind of dominate and take over this football game. Reuben Owens finally had a good, healthy football game. 21 for 142. Loved seeing it out of him. Thought that was great. A&M defense was all over Blake Shapen, had 4 sacks. This is kind of what I talked about on the preview last week a little bit. Is I was anxious to see what Blake Shapen looked like outside of Mississippi State, like on the road. I was anxious to see how he looked like in a big-time football game in a big-time environment. Didn't really answer and give me any, didn't really answer any of my questions that I had. Now I just have more questions about Blake Shapen moving forward, in my opinion. Also, dude, Mike Elko is a fantastic coach, one of the most underrated in the business. He's getting the absolute most out of this football team. He's had success in his 10 years before he got to A&M. Really, really like Texas A&M and Mike Elko moving forward. 299 rushing yards to 77. That's all you need to know, really. Also, Mississippi State 1 for 10 on third down. I don't need to say anything else. There's everything you need to know about why Mississippi State only had 9 points and lost this football game. The next quickie that we have is also mine. Texas Tech 35 at Houston 11. We see Connor Wegman go down in this football game. Don't think it made a difference because before that he was 5 of 12. Not looking good. Not that good at all, in my opinion. I think what you heard me and Nolan go back and forth a little bit earlier. I think Texas Tech is legit. I think they're one of the most legit teams in the country. 552 total yards in this football game. They've dominated by 24-plus points in every game so far, and I think they have answered a lot of questions, in my opinion. This was whether you want to, people want to admit this or not, coming into this football game, this was a battle of unbeaten teams. Houston was 4-0 coming into this thing and looked like they might be a legit football team, and I don't think you write them off now, but they didn't have the talent to match up with Texas Tech, and it kind of showed down the stretch in this football game. Houston goes 1 of 12 on third down. You guys know I'm a big third down guy. That's one of the first things I look at when I look at football games and watch games is how do teams do on third down? If you don't have tons, if you're not at least 50% on third downs, probably not going to have tons of success. Also, your offense getting to third down, is it third and short, is it third and long? I felt like Houston was living in third and long most of the football game. That's how you lose football games. And on the flip side of this, 27 first downs for Texas Tech. That's a ton of first downs, man. That's long extended drives. That's beating up a defense. Quentin Joyner goes down in the spring. I was worried about that for Texas Tech on their rushing attack. Fellas, they got a good stable of running backs, man. Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey have took this job over with a vengeance. Love what I'm seeing from them. Baron Morton looked fantastic. 8.6 yards per attempt for 345 yards. Texas Tech, damn good football team moving forward, in my opinion. All I have on my two. Whoever's up out of YouTube next on this one, take it over from here. Boise State 7 at Notre Dame 28. Give it to me.
Yeah, the next two are mine. This game, Notre Dame did what they had to do, but I would like to have seen them be more explosive. I thought this was a good opportunity for them to kind of show out, put up a big number, and kind of tell the country that they're still there. Yeah, they won by 3 scores, but I would have liked it to have been 4 or 5. They had too many empty drives and also some mistakes where they fumbled the ball, but luckily fell on top of it. So clean that up, and they'll be fine moving forward. Man, but they got some good running backs. They're going to have to lean on them the rest of the season. But Price and Lover is probably one of the better duos in the country in the backfield there. Lean on them and get them going. On the defensive side of the ball, just an outstanding game from Notre Dame on that side of the ball. 4 interceptions by Maddox Madsen. Boise State could not run the ball whatsoever. And on their defensive side, they did the best they could. They held Notre Dame to 28 points, but they just could not stop the rushing attack from Love and Prince, and it showed out. And then they took the loss there in South Bend. Looking to see what Notre Dame does moving forward, but I hope they would do a little bit better and put up some more points in this game. But nonetheless, got the win. Next game we have is Virginia and Louisville. Both of these, excuse me. Yeah, both of these teams Virginia had a loss. Louisville was undefeated in this game at home against Virginia. Team coming off a big win against Florida State. It was a back and forth game the whole game. I thought Louisville looked better on offense besides the turnovers. Just couldn't finish, or they really could not stop Chandler Morris on defense either. He didn't have a great game, but he was a game manager type quarterback, which he is. And then they had the 2 defensive touchdowns on the defensive side of the ball. That was the X factor in this game. Back and forth, I didn't really see a whole lot of bad from either team. Just kind of a slugfest into overtime. Great game from Chris Bell on Louisville. Had a 12 for 170 and 2 touchdowns. Louisville's got some weapons, just couldn't get it done in this game. And Virginia pulled it out with those 2 defensive touchdowns.
Nolan, you ready? Washington 24 at Maryland 20. Nolan, go ahead and take it from here, buddy.
Sorry, mute monster got me again.
It happens.
All right, so you guys know how I like to do the quickies at this point. We got 1 point for each side on the reviews. For the Washington side of the ball, they looked lost in the first half. I don't know what was going on. They seem to have found it in the second half, according to some of the different after-game interviews and everything. Washington's coach apparently said something along the lines of his team is so young they don't know when they're beat, and it probably worked in their favor at this point because they were down 20 at one point, and they just kept fighting, kept going. It looks like their passing offense kind of came alive in the second half.
Yeah.
For the Maryland side of the ball, Maryland is still Maryland. They can't put the game away, and I don't know what they were doing the second half of the game. First half of the game, I mean, they couldn't run the ball anyway all game, but first half of the game, they were running the ball right and left. It didn't matter if it worked or not. The clock was still running. If they would have just kept that same game plan in the second half and not giving Washington all these chances at the end of the game with these incomplete passes. I mean, they threw 24 passes in the second half alone, 24 times. They stopped the clock on more than half of those. If you just keep the ball rolling, keep the clock rolling, Maryland probably pulls this game out, and we're talking about a different stat line today.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. They got in their own way. The last quickie that we have is Nolan's as well. Iowa State 30 at Cincinnati 38. Go ahead, buddy.
For the Iowa State side, I mean, I don't really know what to say. They didn't play a bad game, not by any means. Their passing offense looked pretty good. Their rush defense, I don't know where they were at, but they weren't there. They didn't play in this game. And for the Cincinnati side of the ball, I mean, they looked like they were a really good, kind of complete team for the Big 12, to be completely honest, beating this Iowa State team. Their defense played well. I've talked about him 3 straight weeks in a row, but Dante Corleone, the godfather in the middle, continues to just play well. And then Brendan Sorsby for Cincinnati, he just seems to know what he's doing with the ball at all times, not really making many mental errors. It might not be a big play, but if you can keep me out of 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, and you can get me to a 3rd and 5 type thing, playbook's open, boys. And Brendan Sorsby knows where he's going with the football.
Yeah, Cincinnati, look, we said this on our preview, man. They're a 4th quarter away from being undefeated at this point. They're a damn good football team. So
yep,
what I'm seeing from them.
I got one thing to add. Absolutely do not write Iowa State off. We talked about this in the preview. They are beat up on all sides of the football, including special teams. I haven't dug into it that deep. I don't think any of these injuries are like season ending. So I think they're going to get a lot of these guys back at the right time, and I think they're going to be just fine. I don't see any issues with them. Yeah, they lost this game, but it was a tough game on the road against Cincy, who, like Nolan mentioned and you mentioned, is a good football team. So don't write them off.
They need a bye. They need to get to a bye. They need a bye, man. They've had a long stretch of 6 football games. It's time to get them some rest and get back to what they need to do. I think they're a good football team moving forward as well. Fellas, anything else we want to talk about real quick before we get out of here? All good. We went a little long, but hey, we knew we had a lot to cover. We had a ton of information to get in on this episode, and when the football is so good and there's so many damn good games, this is what we got to do. This is just what we have to do, and we like that you bear with us here. And
or when the football's bad, we got a lot to talk about.
Correct. Well, bad football leads to good football for some teams, so that's why we got to come in and give you all the information. So, fellas, fantastic stuff here. Liked everything that we covered. We didn't leave any stone unturned. So, moving forward, we will be back tomorrow night doing our preview. Loaded slate again. Might go a little long tomorrow. We got a ton of games to talk about tomorrow because we have another loaded slate of college football, which makes it absolutely incredible for all of us and college football fans. So you can follow us on YouTube, Apple, Spotify at Deep Threat Sports, XDT_sports_, Facebook, Deep Threat Sports Network. Tell your friends, tell your family. Keep getting the subscribers. Like I said, we're over the 100 benchmark. We're still rising. We still want to keep growing this thing. Love that we have people come back and join us every week. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, comment, and hitting the alerts button. Fellas, thank you guys for all that you've done. That's Bryant. That's Nolan. I'm Colin. Hey, until next time, peace.